Hi everybody, Mike McConville, welcome back. Stratford, Ontario, Canada for String Tech Workstations. We've got this 1965 6124 Gretsch guitar, which was the Pig and Whistle show guitar. Now this is going to be a complete refret and we're doing some major correction on the fingerboard. I'm going to point that out in a second. We also have a 40th anniversary Strat, American Strat of course. We'll be doing a complete refret too. I got to bring in. So have a look. Bob is a long-time friend and local customer. I've been working on his guitars for years. When we looked at this when he brought it in, I thought, oh my God, there's not enough left to dress on this one. This is going to be a complete refret. As always, you'll get a play-by-play on the Patreon channel. We'll show you precisely how to do this work professionally. Cheers. Well, I think you'd have to be pretty well blind not to see the discrepancy in this neck. So you got this major hump right here. Now this is the beauty of doing a complete refret. So for the first time ever with this guitar, we're going to have complete control over the lay of the neck and the fingerboard, and we'll get this thing 100% perfect along the trajectory of the string path. On the treble side, it's actually almost dead straight. It's actually pretty good, but the bass side of this neck is... it's out there, and I can see where they've ground down these frets in desperation to try and kind of get it to be playable. Complete refret on this. Another unusual thing about this particular guitar is it does not have a 0 fret, so we will do a compensated nut. Check out my Patreon channel. We're going to walk you through this step by step. Cheers. Okay, this Guild and the Strat are both getting complete refrets, and they're both going to need fingerboard correction. So I've got both of these set up on their respective tech decks, and we're doing them in tandem. So I don't have any vices, I don't have any CNC machines, I'm not clamping the guitar. Everything is supported, the neck and the body simultaneously. I'm bringing this headstock right up to chest level. I get a perfect view of the neck along its length. I'm going to sort of check this as we go. Oh yeah, we've got some major displacement from here to here. We're also going to take care of a little bit of a skip at the end of the fingerboard as well. This is the beauty of doing a complete refret, especially when you got that much real estate on the fingerboard. Big, healthy fingerboard. We're going to get this thing laser straight along the trajectory of the string path. This is a tip that I give to my students, even on level 1. Kind of general rule, when you're working with truss rods, always start by loosening, don't tighten. And it feels to me like that's got a lot of torque on it. So I want to loosen this off and see what we've got. Okay, so that's basically loosened. That's loosened right off now. So now let's have a look at the neck again. Sure enough, just by releasing that truss rod tension, this is straightened right out. We all know what a truss rod is supposed to do. How the neck reacts from side to side can be a completely different thing. But we are going to tension this truss rod before we level. And I'll explain that as we go. So the good news is the truss rod is not stripped or broken. So we loosen that right off. Now I'm going to bring it to point of contact. So just right there. But I'm going to give it just a little bit of extra torque. And I'll explain this as we go. Okay, I've cleaned off that piece of a matchbook cover. Someone had obviously tried to, sort of shore up the nut to get over this hump on the bass side. Anyway, they're kind of going around in circles on it. I mean, really, in 1965, there were not a lot of people out there that really knew what they were doing. A pretty small audience of pro guitar techs. So much has been learned since then. But once you get in underneath the crown, go nice and easy, just kind of a millimeter at a time. Nice and easy, don't be in a hurry. So it's really just the motion of the jaws coming together that lift the fret up and push the wood down. So the body is held, the neck is held. I'm not worried about anything getting crushed or anything wobbling or slipping while I'm working on it. I can relax and go nice and easy. Focus on my work 100% without wasting a second's thought on whether the guitar is going to slip. So we're going to go with an EVO fret wire. Once again, this is from the good folks in New York, Just Car in New York. They have this EVO alloy. So the EVO fret wire wears much longer than the your standard sort of nickel silver. About a millimeter at a time. Pay close attention to how I'm holding these end cutters. Now the face has been ground flush, right? These are just Stanley end cutters. I got them at Lowe's, I think, a local hardware store. It's nice and long too, so you got lots of leverage. But as I pull those jaws together, if you look, you'll see that I've got my index finger on the inside. So these three fingers are pulling, right, to kind of close the jaws. So the index finger is pushing in the opposite direction. So it's actually supplying inertia against the motion of the jaws. And the reason I'm doing that is because it gives me a very controlled motion. Two things are happening. The face of the cutter is pushing the wood down as the jaw slips in underneath the crown and gently lifts the fret up. So starting can often be the trickiest part. I'm going right to the outside extremity of that fret and bringing those jaws together to gently start that tang lifting out of the saw kerf. A little bit at a time. You see, I'm only going a millimeter at a time. A little tiny bit. So I've got a finger here and I got my thumb on the other side, and I'm basically pinching the apex of the jaws to stabilize the tool as I walk across the fingerboard side to side. Okay, you know something? I've kind of marred that fret to the point where I basically got nothing left to grab. When that happens, well, you know something? We're going to jump over to the other side. We're going to start there. I'm striking out on the treble side. I'm coming back around to the bass side here. It's a beautiful thing. So this is how clean those frets came out. Okay, next on the roster, we got this 40th anniversary Strat. I'm doing these two fret jobs in tandem. Both fingerboards need to be corrected a little bit, and we'll kind of bring you in close and show you how we do that as well. All you patch-around guys are going to get the front row seat on both these jobs. Before I pull these frets out, I just wanted to give you a close-up of the fret wear on this thing. Bob, who's a longtime friend, retired postman, he logs in some serious time on this Strat. Just to switch it up, we'll start up at the top end on this Strat. And I am applying some heat to these frets. I'll explain in a second. Because the beads are quite frequent along the length of that tang, there's just a little bit more resistance for those frets to come out. So I heat the fret up, and you need to remove it quickly, because what happens is the fret wire itself is quite malleable. When you heat it, it softens it ever so slightly. But when it cools, it's actually tempered. It's harder than it was to begin with. So I'm just saying, move quickly and with confidence. Don't give the fret time to cool. 3 shots, bass side, center, treble side. Move quickly, slip under that crown, and same as before, you're still only going a millimeter at a time. You want the ground face of the end cutters to push the wood down as it slips the fret out. So we're doing both of these guitars in tandem. So next step is we're going to make sure that we've got the correct amount of load on the truss rod before we start leveling. So the Strat fingerboard's ready for leveling and correction. The Gretsch 6124 is also ready for fingerboard correction and leveling. And we'll be dropping the frets in both these guitars tomorrow. For all of my Patreon subscribers, you'll be getting a front row seat, step by step, on the complete refret on this 1965 6124 Gretsch, as well as complete instruction, step by step, on this 40th anniversary Strat. Cheers, and thanks for your support.